Well, what are the biggest challenges that older adults with diabetes face during the holidays?
Yeah, I think some of the biggest challenges during the holidays, we know oftentimes they're food centric, right? So there's a lot of temptation with regards to having a lot of access to sweet foods or foods that are high in starches and carbohydrates. I think another really important point to bring up here is the disruption to your daily routine. So think about it. We might be doing a lot of traveling by plane or car, train, essentially having a lot of time away from home. Oftentimes patients may forget to take their medication or forget to take it at their regularly scheduled time and may not have access to their regular routine meals, which usually tend to be healthier than food out when they're on the road. And of course, for older adults, I think it's really important, particularly this time of year, to think about isolation and loneliness. You know, a lot of older adults may not have the ability to get out due to mobility issues, and that can cause a lot of isolation, oftentimes lead to depression and anxiety, just to name a few.
That's a challenge too, I know, this time of year. So we want to focus on the food, of course, and it is so easy just to, you know, like you said, it's just all right there in front of us, all the food we shouldn't eat. But what are some things that families can do to kind of support your loved ones who are suffering from diabetes?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, first and foremost, you mentioned the key word there, support your family members. Certainly don't make them feel bad or guilty, you know, about not being able to eat all of the things that may be available at the holiday table. But I'd like to encourage doing healthy food swaps. I think that's a big key here. So, you know, you can start with the vegetables, right? You can opt for roasted vegetables or steamed vegetables as opposed to the candied yams or the creamy casseroles. And I'd like to encourage patients to use fruits and herbs, so things like garlic, lemons, limes, oranges. All of these things can add a ton of flavor and seasoning to food without the harmful effects of added salt or sugars.
I think that's great, because a lot of times you assume healthy means it's not as tasty, but that's not true necessarily.
Exactly.
Yes. So why is diabetes so worrisome, especially in older adults?
Yeah, well, I think one of the big take-home points here, it's not necessarily the diabetes, but it's the complications from the diabetes.
Okay.
It truly can create a ripple effect inside the body, particularly when we're talking about small blood vessels. So these are the blood vessels that supply your retina in the back of the eye. These are the blood vessels that supply the nerves to the tips of your fingers and soles of your feet, as well as your kidneys. So when you are diabetic and if your sugars are not controlled, it really can create problems such as vision loss, numbness and tingling in the hands and feet, as well as the development of chronic kidney disease.
Okay. And I think this point is really important, treating the whole person and not just the disease. Why is that so important, to treat the person and not the diabetes?
Yes, you know, anytime you're managing chronic medical conditions such as diabetes, especially in older adults, you really do have to take a team-based approach and keep in mind to treat the whole patient. I always tell my patients it's not just the services I provide as your physician, but we need to take care of the social well-being and your emotional well-being. And so what we'll do is elicit our experts, right? So it's not just me at Oak Street Health, but we have a whole team, social workers, behavioral health specialists, and community health workers to provide solid wraparound care to our patients.
I think that's wonderful. Where can people get more information, or if they have any questions or concerns, where can they learn more?
Yes, if you're interested in getting more information, learning more about Oak Street Health, or would like to schedule a visit with us, just pick up the phone and give us a call. The phone number is 855-337-0583.